degrees down. Wait, now 0.4. Was the load creeping toward the end of the blue latticed jib on its own? Had the trolley become detached from the drive cables? Gary had never heard of that happening. He looked forward, saw nothing irregular. Now, minus 0.5. Nothing is more regulated and inspected on a construction site than the stability of a tower crane, especially one that soars this high into the sky and has within its perimeter a half-dozen structures, and hundreds, perhaps thousands, of human souls. Meticulous calculations are made of the load, in this case 36,000 pounds of 6x4-inch flange beams, and the counterweights, the rectangular blocks of cement, to make sure this particular crane can lift and swing the payload. Once that's signed off on, the info goes into the computer and the magic balance is maintained, moving the counterweights behind him back and forth ever so slightly to keep the needle at 0. Moment. Minus 0.51. He looked back at the counterweights. This was instinctive. He didn't know what he might see. Nothing was visible. Minus 0.52. The blaring continued. Minus 0.54. He shut the alarm switch off. The accompanying indicator flashed warning, and the moment imbalance messages continued. Minus 0.55. The super said, "We've hit diagnostics and don't see a sensor issue." "Forget sensors," Gary said. "We're tilting." Minus 0.58. "I'm going to manual." He shut off the controller. He'd been riding tower cranes for the past 15 years, since he signed up with Moynihan Construction after his stint as an engineer in the Army. Digital controls made the job easier and safer, but he'd cut his teeth operating towers by hand, using charts and graphs and a pad attached to his thigh for calculations, and of course, a needle balance indicator to get the moment just right. He now tugged on the joystick to draw the load trolley closer to center. Then switching to the counterweight control, he moved those away from the tower. His eyes were fixed on the LMI, which still indicated moment imbalance forward. He moved the weights, totaling 100 tons, farther back. This had to achieve moment. It was impossible for it not to. But it did not. Back to the front jib. He cranked the trolley closer to him. The flanges swung. He'd moved more quickly than he'd meant to. He was looking at his coffee cup. The chair, padded, comfortable, did not come factory-equipped with a cup holder. But Gary, an aficionado of any and all brews, had mounted one on the wall, far away from the electronics, of course. The brown liquid was level. The cup was not. Another glance at the LMI indicator. A full minus 2% down in the front. He worked the trolley control and brought the load of flanges closer yet. Ah, yes, that did it. The alarm light went out as the balance indicator now moved slowly back to minus 0.5, and then 0, then 1, and kept rising. This was because the counterweights were so far back. Gary now reeled them in until they were as far forward as they could go. It brought the LMI needle to 1.2. This was normal. Cranes are made to lean backward slightly when there is no weight of a load on the front jib, which should, at rest, be about 1 degree. The main stability comes from the massive concrete base. That's what holds it upright when there's no balancing act going on. "Got it, Danny," he radioed. "Stable, but I'll need maintenance. Got to be some counterweight issue." "'Kay, I think Will's off break." Gary sat back and sipped his coffee, replaced the cup, listened to the wind. It would be some minutes before the mechanic arrived. To get to the cab from the ground, there was one way and one way only. You climbed the mast. But the cab was 22 stories above the ground, which meant at least one, maybe 2 5-minute rest stops on the way up. Guys on the site sometimes thought if you were a crane operator, you were in lousy shape, sitting on your ass all day long. They forgot about the climb. With no load to deliver, no hook block to steer carefully to the ground, he could sit back and enjoy the indescribable view. If Gary wanted, he could put a name to what he was looking at. The 5 boroughs of the city, a huge parcel of New Jersey, a thin band of Westchester, one of Long Island, too. But he wasn't interested in GPS information. He was thrilled by the browns and grays and greens and white clouds and the endless blue, every shade far richer and bolder than when viewed by landlocked pedestrians below. From a young age, Gary had known he wanted to build sky.